Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I read Black books and Halloween is coming up. So I thought I'd share some of my must-read Black horror books. There's so much in this genre that doesn't really get talked about enough, and there's so many great authors out there. Probably heard of Victor LaValle and Tanana Reeve Do, and I do have some of their books on my list, but I also have other books by lesser known Black authors in the horror genre. These stories have everything from ghosts to folklore to generational curses. And yeah, there's plenty of horror, but there's also a unique perspective that we don't see enough in mainstream horror today. So let's get into it. My top 10 must read Black horror books for Halloween. Starting off the list at number 10 is The Spite House by Johnny Compton. This one's got everything you'd want in a haunted house story. The story follows a father and his two daughters who are on the run from their past and they are quickly running out of money. So the father finds a job at a mysterious house in Texas called the Spite House, in which he and his family have to live in his house and record any paranormal activities that they see around the house. The suspense in this book builds in such a way that constantly keeps you guessing. So if you're looking for a slow burn but very spooky, vibey book that digs deeper than your average haunted house book, then pick up The Spite House by Johnny Compton. So at number 9, I have Sorrowland by River Solomon. This book is a unique blend of horror and gothic and speculative fiction, and not quite like anything else that I've ever read before. It follows a young woman who escapes from this very strict religious cult, pregnant, and she goes to hide out and give birth to her twins in the woods. And as she's raising them alone in the wilderness, she realizes that something starts to change within her body, and she's transforming in strange and supernatural ways. The story is very haunting and layered, and if you're looking for a horror novel that literally gets under your skin, then Sorrowland by River Solomon is the book you want to read for Halloween. At number 8, I have The Scorch Between Stars by Ness Brown, and this is one for those who like a little sci-fi mixed with their horror. If you like the movie franchises Alien and Predator, then this is the book for you. The story is set on a spaceship called the Calypso that's very slowly heading back to Earth after a failed colonization. The main character is the acting captain on the ship who is trying to navigate through keeping everyone on board safe while also trying to figure out what's going on with her father, who is the acting captain of the ship, who she hasn't seen in a few weeks or so, but knows that he's locked in his quarters, but he's just not responding to her. And on top of that, there's something else on the ship with the crew, and it's slowly stalking and hunting and unaliving the crew members. So while she's navigating through all of that, she is also having to deal with the tension steadily rising within the crew, not only because of what else is haunting them on the ship, but also because supplies are getting low and they still have a while before they get back to Earth. So if you're a horror fan that likes that claustrophobic, locked in feeling of space horror, then this book is for you. And number 7 is a book that I found one day on Kindle Unlimited called Renew You by Michelle Tracy Berger. And this is a fun but kind of horrific read about what could happen to you after a visit to the beauty salon. What if a visit to the beauty salon could unalive you? It follows our main character, who is a out of work ski instructor from Colorado, who has come back home to New York City to settle her late mother's affairs. And while she's there, she goes to a hair salon to get her hair relaxed. After she leaves the salon later on in the evening, she feels something uncomfortable going on in her scalp. It's extremely itchy, and the itchy gets so intense that she decides to look and sees that there are purple lesions and pus all over her scalp. We are then introduced to other characters who have gone through similar things at the same salon with this same brand of relaxer, and their stories intersect into this one big story of a huge viral outbreak in New York City among Black and Latino neighborhoods. So our main character group of a small group of affected women band together to find answers and reclaim their strength. So if you're looking for a horror novel that combines real world issues with supernatural elements, then Renew You is a must read for Halloween. Okay, so at number 6, I think, we have Hide and Seeker by Zachary Herman. And this is the only children's book on this list, but don't let that fool you. Hide and Seeker is a super terrifying take on an innocent childhood game. The story starts with a group of friends who are attending a party for their friend Z, who had been missing for over a year and just miraculously turns up home one day. But Z's not the same, and they know something terrifying has happened to him. and he's haunted by just one warning: don't play hide and seek again. But of course, the kids being kids, they don't take this warning seriously, and they end up playing a game of hide and seek at this party, in which they are all summoned into this dark, twisted world where a sinister figure called the Seeker is waiting and collecting children for his ultimate endgame. So now they have to use all of their courage and friendship to survive this dangerous world or risk becoming trapped there forever. We Are Here to Hurt Each Other by Paula D. Ashe, and this is the most unhinged book on this list. The author really plunges us into a dark and bloody world in this collection of short stories, and really explores human degradation and urban decay in such a way that reminds us that nothing is sacred and no one is safe. There is terror lurking around every corner, and each story reveals we are all capable of hurting each other. And it's not so much a story about monsters as monsters per se, but it's actually about the monsters that dwell within us. The stories in this book are not only horrifying, but also examine the grim reality of our lives. Each story is filled with a slow, creeping dread that will linger long after the last page is turned. So if you're into the darker side of humanity, then this is the book for you. At number 4, I have Frenzy by Brandon Massey. In this story, the story takes place in a seemingly like happy suburban community, the type of community with the family movie nights in the town square, all local businesses, farmers markets filled with like organic goods, like a whole suburban community like that. Beautiful homes and quiet, serene streets. But beneath this idyllic community is something so sinister. It starts out with one incident that leads into several incidents over the course of 24 hours. And the incidents surround people getting very, very angry and performing very horrific acts upon other people. People of the communities believe that there's something viral going on, and they call in the CDC, and the CDC comes in, but they find out they can't really contain what's going on. And so this book examines what happens when our friends and our neighbors turn into our enemies. Number 3 is The Ballot of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. This is a retelling of H.P. Lovecraft's The Horror at Red Hook. It follows Tom, who is a street hustler who takes a mysterious job from some rich guy, and the job is that he has to deliver this mysterious package to a reclusive man in Queens. What starts out as like a simple job quickly spirals into something horrifying, involving dark magic, terrifying creatures, and the underworld beyond our own. Victor LaValle does a great job at painting a haunting picture that makes this book like the perfect book for Halloween. And it's super short. You'll be able to read it in a couple hours or less. All right, I have a tie for the number 2 spot, but they're both by Tanana Reevdu. The first is The Between by Tanana Reevdu. And this is psychological horror at its best. It follows a man named Hilton who experiences a tragic and horrific event as a child, and that event has kind of stuck with him throughout his life into adulthood, and he begins to sense the presence of spirits and strange occurrences in his nightmares that blur the lines between reality and the supernatural. And as he is forced to navigate his past traumas, he is also dealing with his current traumas that his family is going through as well. And as both traumas begin to terrorize him, he realizes that his past is going to refuse to stay buried, and it's manifesting in his current life in chilling ways that threaten not only him but his family as well. And also at number 2, I had to include The Good House by Tanana Reevdu. If you've been following me, you know how much I love this book. This book explores family secrets and goes beyond the typical haunted house book. It follows Angela, who is a successful entertainment lawyer, as she goes back to her ancestral home where a couple years before a severely tragic accident happened. She goes back just to kind of face and confront her fears and to figure out what really happened a couple of years ago and to uncover the truth about her family's past. What was once a place of such warmth just turned dark and haunting really quick, and she wants to figure out why this is happening to her family. As she uncovers more and more truths about her family's past and about this house, she's drawn into a world of spirits and curses that refuse to let go. This is one of the books that stays with you for a long, long time. It's very long, but it's super worth it. My number one must read black horror book for Halloween is Out There Screaming by a variety of black authors and edited by the Jordan Peele. This collection has such a diverse showcasing of talented black authors. There's everyone's in here from Tanana Reeve Dew, Rebecca Roan Horace, Nnedi Okofor, Nalo Hopkinson, P. Jelly Clark, N.K. Jemisin. There are so many talented black authors in this book. This book has everything from horror to psychological thrillers to sci-fi horror. It explores many facets of horror and fear. What I love most about this book is it's a very carefully curated collection. You get the best of a great variety of black authors, especially black authors in horror. And you even get some of the lesser known black authors and emerging voices in black horror literature. This book is essential to have on your bookshelf. It's an anthology that not only entertains but challenges the conventions of mainstream horror. And it's a must read for anyone who's looking to discover new black authors or just expand their literary horizons in black horror. Thank you for watching, and as always, let me know your recommendations in the comments.